My friend, there comes a time in life when you realize some people are not here to walk with you, they are here to test you. They don't love you, they don't respect you, they don't value you. They play games, they manipulate, they betray. And when that moment arrives, when you see the truth with clear eyes, you have a choice. Will you react with anger, with desperation, with weakness, or will you rise above, untouched, unshaken, unbreakable? If they play games with you, handle them like this. Step 1. Silence is power. Silence is often mistaken for weakness, but in reality it is one of the greatest forms of strength. When someone seeks to manipulate, provoke, or control you, they rely on your reaction to fuel their influence. They thrive on your emotions, your anger, your words. The moment you speak in response to their games, you validate their actions, you give them exactly what they want, your attention. And attention is power. When you choose silence instead, you deny them that power. You stand firm, untouched, and impenetrable. Silence is not just the absence of words, it is the presence of self-control. It is the ability to see the chaos in front of you and refuse to participate. It is knowing that your energy is too valuable to be wasted on those who do not deserve it. When someone plays games with you, they expect you to react. They want you to be emotional, to defend yourself, to explain, to fight. But when you give them nothing, no words, no reaction, no acknowledgement, you take everything from them. You strip them of their control. You force them to sit alone with their own manipulations, with no response to feed on. That is true power. In a world where people seek validation through attention, your silence becomes the ultimate act of defiance. When you refuse to engage, you send a message louder than any words ever could. You do not control me, you do not affect me. And that realization unsettles those who play games. They expect to see frustration, to witness anger, to hear excuses. But when they are met with silence, they are forced to confront their own actions. They are left wondering what you are thinking, what you are planning, what your silence means. This uncertainty unsettles them, while you remain completely in control. Your silence creates an imbalance of power. It makes them question themselves. It makes them doubt their own importance. And nothing is more powerful than making a manipulator feel insignificant. Most people fear silence. They feel the need to fill it with explanations, with arguments, with justifications. But those who understand the power of silence know that sometimes the best answer is none at all. Not every insult needs a response. Not every attack needs a defense. Sometimes the greatest show of strength is to simply refuse to engage. When you practice silence, you train yourself to control your emotions. You no longer act impulsively, no longer respond out of anger or hurt. You develop a level of discipline that separates you from those who are ruled by their emotions. You learn to observe instead of react, to analyze instead of assume, and when you reach this level of control, you become untouchable. No one can pull you into their games because you refuse to play. No one can manipulate you because you refuse to give them the reaction they seek. Your silence forces them to reveal their true selves. It forces them to either escalate their games to a level that exposes them or to walk away because they realize they cannot win. Either way, you remain unaffected. This is why silence is a weapon. It is not passive. It is active. It is a conscious choice to remain unmoved in the face of provocation. And it is the mark of someone who refuses to be controlled. While others waste their energy in unnecessary battles, you conserve yours for the things that truly matter. People who play games will test your patience. They will try to bait you into speaking, into reacting, into losing control. They will push, they will provoke, they will do everything they can to get a response. But the moment you understand that their power comes from your reaction, you take that power away. You begin to see their actions for what they are. Desperate attempts to gain control over you. And when you do not respond, you force them into a position of weakness. They either expose their true character by escalating their behavior, or they retreat, knowing they have lost their influence. Either way, you win. Silence does not mean submission. It does not mean you are ignoring reality. It means you are choosing to engage only in battles that are worth your time. It means you are strong enough to walk away from meaningless conflicts. It means you refuse to let others dictate your emotions. And when you master this, you gain a level of freedom that few ever achieve. You become immune to manipulation. You become untouchable, and those who once played games with you will realize they never had power over you to begin with. Step 2. Control your emotions, control the game. Emotions are the easiest way to lose control. The moment you let someone provoke you into anger, frustration, or desperation, you hand them power over you. People who play games rely on your emotional reactions to dictate their next move. They push your buttons, waiting to see if you will break. The more emotionally reactive you are, the more predictable you become. And the more predictable you are, the easier you are to manipulate. If you lash out when insulted, they will use insults to control you. If you crumble when ignored, they will withhold attention to make you chase them. Every time you react impulsively, you give them an instruction manual on how to control you. But when you master your emotions, when you refuse to give them the reaction they seek, you take back control. You become unpredictable. You become unshakable. You force them to guess, to wonder, to feel uncertain about their ability to affect you. That is when the power shifts. That is when you take control of the game. Because the one who remains calm, the one who refuses to be emotionally swayed, is always the one who wins. Mastering your emotions does not mean suppressing them. It means understanding them, controlling them, and using them to your advantage. Anger, frustration, and sadness are all natural responses, but they should never dictate your actions. When someone tries to manipulate you, your first instinct might be to fight back, to prove a point, to seek revenge. But that is exactly what they want. They want you to act on impulse, to make mistakes, to say things you will regret. When you operate from a place of emotion rather than logic, you give them the upper hand. They see your weakness, they see what triggers you, and they use it against you. But when you pause, when you take a breath, when you remain still while they try to shake you, they realize their efforts are wasted. They cannot control someone who refuses to react. They cannot manipulate someone who refuses to engage emotionally. And when they see that their games do not affect you, they begin to lose interest. Because without your reaction, without your emotions fueling their manipulation, they have nothing left to work with. Remaining in control of your emotions also gives you the advantage of observation. While they are trying to manipulate you, while they are pushing and pulling to get a reaction, you remain still and watch. You study their patterns, their tactics, their weaknesses. You see the way they operate, the way they attempt to provoke you, the way they thrive on your emotions. And once you understand their game, you can dismantle it piece by piece. When they insult you, you do not respond. When they ignore you, you do not chase. When they try to make you jealous, you remain indifferent. This frustrates them. They are used to controlling people through emotional reactions, but with you, they find themselves powerless. And when they realize they have no effect on you, they begin to unravel. They become emotional. They become reckless. They start making mistakes. They lose control of their own game. And in that moment, without saying a word, without doing anything but maintaining your emotional discipline, you win. People who seek to manipulate others rely on the fact that most people are slaves to their emotions. They expect anger when they push you. They expect sadness when they withdraw. They expect desperation when they create distance. But when you do not give them any of these reactions, when you remain calm, composed, and unmoved, you break the cycle. You remove their power. They no longer know how to control you because you are not following the script they have used on others. They try to make you jealous, but you do not care. They try to guilt trip you, but you remain firm. They try to provoke you, but you do not respond. And this terrifies them, because they realize they have no control over you. And when they have no control over you, they have no choice but to walk away or reveal their true selves. Either way, you remain in control, and they are left wondering how they lost their grip. The moment you stop reacting emotionally is the moment you take control of the game, and once you have control, you never have to play by their rules again. Step 3. Walk away. With strength, not weakness. Walking away is often seen as surrender, but in reality it is the most powerful move you can make. When you walk away on your terms, with your dignity intact, you are not losing, you are choosing. You are choosing yourself over their games, over their manipulations, over their attempts to control you. People who play games want you to stay. They want you to argue, to fight, to prove something to them. They want to keep you in their cycle of manipulation because as long as you are engaged, they have power over you. But the moment you decide that their presence is no longer worth your energy, that their games are beneath you, you win, because nothing frustrates a manipulator more than realizing they no longer have access to you. They rely on your attachment, your emotions, your fear of leaving. But when you walk away with certainty, with strength, with a sense of complete indifference, they are left with nothing. And when they are left with nothing, they are forced to face the reality that they were never in control. You were. Walking away is not a sign of weakness. It is the final proof of your power. Most people hesitate to walk away because they confuse attachment with value. They believe that staying, fighting, proving their worth is the right thing to do. But the truth is, staying in a game designed to drain you is not a sign of strength. It is a sign of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of losing, fear of letting go. And manipulators use this fear against you. They create just enough hope to keep you holding on. They give you just enough attention to make you think things will change. They push you away just enough to make you chase them. It is a cycle, and the only way to win is to refuse to play. To recognize that your value does not come from their validation. To understand that your self-respect is worth more than their approval. To walk away, not in anger, not in desperation, but in complete control. Because when you walk away with strength, you send a message that cannot be ignored. You are not someone who can be played with. Walking away does not mean you do not care. It does not mean you do not feel. It means you have reached a level of self-respect where you refuse to be treated as an option, as entertainment, as a pawn in someone else's game. It means you understand that some battles are not worth fighting, that some people are not worth your time. And when you walk away with that understanding, you reclaim your power, because manipulators thrive on your engagement. They want to see your pain, your anger, your regret. They want to know that you are still thinking about them, that they still have a hold over you. But when you leave without looking back, without seeking closure, without needing an explanation, you take that power away. You leave them confused, unsettled, wondering how they lost control. And in that moment, they realize that the real game was never about them controlling you. It was about whether you would let them, and you didn't. That is what real strength looks like. There is no need for revenge, no need for explanations, no need to prove anything. The act of walking away with confidence is enough. It is the ultimate statement that you are above their manipulation, that their games do not define you, that their presence in your life is no longer required. And this is what they fear the most, not your anger, not your words, but your absence, your ability to detach, to move forward without hesitation, to leave them behind without a second thought. That is what breaks them. Because they never expected you to walk away. They expected you to stay, to argue, to try to fix things, to give them more chances. But you didn't. You made a choice. And when you make that choice from a place of strength, you gain something far more valuable than their approval. You gain freedom. freedom from their control, from their games, from the endless cycle they wanted to keep you trapped in. And once you walk away with strength, you never have to look back. When you master silence, control your emotions, and walk away with strength, you become untouchable. The people who once played games with you will realize too late that they never had real power over you. Their manipulation, their mind games, their attempts to control your reactions, none of it worked. You did not break, you did not beg, you did not fall into their traps. Instead, you remained calm, composed, and completely in control. And that is what destroys them. Not your anger, not your retaliation, but your indifference. Because nothing weakens a manipulator more than realizing they no longer affect you. Most people spend their lives reacting, chasing, arguing, proving, defending. But the moment you step out of that cycle, the moment you decide that your peace is more valuable than their games, everything changes. You stop seeking validation from those who do not respect you. You stop giving your energy to situations that drain you. You stop fighting battles that are designed to keep you stuck. And you start moving forward with absolute certainty that you do not need to prove your worth to anyone. Those who truly respect you will never put you in a position where you have to fight for their attention, their approval, or their loyalty. Walking away does not mean you lost. It means you chose yourself. It means you understood that some situations are beneath you, that some people are not worth your time. It means you refuse to be controlled, manipulated, or reduced by those who do not appreciate your presence. And when you walk away in complete control, without anger, without resentment, without looking back, you show them that they never had any real power over you to begin with. They thought they could play with your emotions, but you mastered them. They thought they could provoke you, but you stayed silent. They thought they could make you chase them, but instead you walked away. That is strength. That is real power. The world belongs to those who refuse to be controlled by it. It belongs to those who can stand in the middle of chaos and remain unshaken. It belongs to those who understand that their energy is too valuable to waste on meaningless. You do not need revenge. You do not need closure. You do not need to explain yourself. Your absence, your silence, your refusal to engage, that is enough. Because when you truly understand your worth, when you fully grasp your own power, you realize that walking away is not an act of weakness. It is the ultimate declaration of self-respect. There will always be people who test you, who try to manipulate you, who attempt to control your emotions. But the difference between those who suffer and those who thrive is one thing: control. Control over your reactions, control over your emotions, control over who has access to your mind, your heart, and your energy. And once you master that, no one, not a manipulator, not a liar, not someone who plays games, will ever have power over you again. Because the moment you stop reacting, the moment you refuse to play along, the moment you walk away without hesitation, they lose, and you walk away free. Thank you.